Ian Maatsen, the future of Aston Villa's midfield. Midfield, he's a left back. On this episode, we're going to take an in-depth look at Ian Maatsen. We're also going to take a look at how he's progressed through the years and his positional changes and where he's played for the clubs that he's played for. Burnley, Chelsea, Dortmund, Villa, the Netherlands. And then we're going to start to paint a picture of how Maatsen can evolve at Aston Villa. Maatsen is so intriguing to me. He's a player that excites me. He's a player that I'm just really fond of. And he's just one of those players that you just look at and you want to do well and you want to get behind them. But with Maatsen, there's so much more than just a left back. There's so much more than just an up and down left-hand side player that's going to get to a byline and put a cross in. He's better than that. He's more technical than that. He's more hybrid than that. So on this episode, we're going to take a real in-depth look at Ian Maatsen. But before we do that, we've got to rewind. We've got to take a look at what Unai Emery is, what type of manager is he, and how does he integrate players, and the time that it takes for him to be fully trusting of those players that play for his system. So, and his team. Grab a drink, grab a tea, grab a coffee. Before you do that as well, make sure you are subscribing to this channel. Brand new channel, talking about Villa players, data, scouting, etc. Quite in depth. If that's for you, then subscribe, smash the likes, comment your thoughts, and let me know are there any other Villa players that you'd like me to discuss on the Villains. So sit back, enjoy the show. Let's just rewind a little bit about Unai Emery. There's a lot that goes into playing for Unai Emery. He is an elite coach, an elite manager, somebody who I have so much respect for, having studied how he works, how he operates. The journey we've been on at Aston Villa, it's fair to say that from an outsider, you will see coming in, taking over from Gerrard, Europa League, Champions League, Europa League. You'll look at that body of work and go, he's done a good job. He is good. Should he have got more time at Arsenal? Different debate, different scenario. Everywhere he's been successful. But when you're a Villa fan, and the media don't really do this with Villa, they don't go in depth on his system. They don't really go in depth on what it takes to become Unai Emery. So when you're a Villa fan and a content creator that studied his team, seen how it operates, know it inside out, then there's so much more to just rocking up and playing for Aston Villa. You know, we talk about his identity, his philosophy, the way in which he coaches the team, the way in which he improves players. We've got his methodology of how he wants individual players to perform tactically, how he wants set pieces to be very intense, very creative. He's got subtle changes that each season he will adopt. We can look at examples of first season at Aston Villa, that half a season. Very defensive, very solid, nicking games 1-0, winning a lot of games. Second season, qualifying for the Champions League, high line, very expressive, quite expansive, quite attacking with individual quality, allowing more freedom, allowing players to express themselves. And then last season under Unai Emery, more controlled, more structured, more possession, more control, more build-up centrally, more patience. So Unai Emery each season adapts, develops, and then we can get into individual game tactics, doing a job on certain teams, allowing a player to maybe go more man for man, win those battles. Talk about McGinn on Dan Burn. We can talk about Villa just being explosive at home. So there's all these different ways that Unai Emery operates. And then we get into what does he want for his players and what does he want for his new signings. Now, there's no... It's not by chance that when Unai Emery signs a player, they don't feature as much as what you'd expect. So we can talk about Youri Tielemans, we can talk about Donyell Malen, we can talk about Ian Maatsen. There's a group of players that come into Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers, and have to go through that Unai Emery school of education. They have to go through that phase of Emery being able to trust the player. Tactically, technically, there's so much that Unai Emery does for individual players. And we've got some quotes here now from some of the players. And these quotes are interesting. They're from Morgan Rogers to start with. And you'll know the scenario with Morgan Rogers. So Morgan Rogers reveals how Unai Emery's championship player comment inspired him to be a success at Aston Villa. So subtle ways of Unai Emery making a player grasp his system and grasp what he wants from him, but to also motivate that player. That was a way of Unai Emery honing in on Morgan Rogers, so Rogers trusts Emery and Emery trusts Rogers. And then we don't look back. We've got Amadou Onana has publicly acknowledged the positive influence of Unai Emery on his game since joining Aston Villa. Onana has stated that Emery has improved aspects of his play that he never thought possible before, and that he feels a whole different player under Emery's guidance. That was a quote from last season. We've got Youri Tielemans, who came to Aston Villa and Emery played him in the 10, but he was on the bench behind Douglas Luiz. Once Youri Tielemans hones in on what Emery wants of him as an individual player, then he's able to flourish. So keep calm and carry on. Just backing the team is something that I think is really strong when we're talking about Malen and Maatsen as individuals, really. So I think there's plenty more to come from Malen and Maatsen as individuals. But then I do want to just touch on something about some of the quotes from managers last season. We've got Glasner and we've got Arne Slot talking about how it's easy to plan for an Unai Emery system because that's the system that he's been playing for years. And I do buy into that a little bit, but then it also does annoy me because Unai Emery has got an identity and he has got a style that he's played. 4-4-2 at Villarreal, 4-4-2 at Aston Villa. So you want to have an identity, you want to have a philosophy. And I think this is all part of players having to buy in and understand Emery's core principles, and then he's able to open things up and flourish a little bit further. So I think we should start to see a little bit more flexibility going into next season with an adaptation of Emery's tactics with a lot of the key players that we've currently got at Aston Villa. So Ian Maatsen has been used at Aston Villa predominantly as an up and down left-sided left back / left winger. But if we go across the years now, and we're going to take a look at a lot of his heat maps at every club that he's been at. So we'll start with Burnley when he was on loan from Chelsea. And what you can see from this heat map, that very rarely does he venture to the byline. There's not a solid red line to the byline. And what you can see is that he's stepping infield into that central position. At Dortmund, again, we can see that very rarely got to the byline, stepped inside, played more centrally, played in more of an inverting role, but did offer a lot going forward, but it was more outside of the 18-yard box. Chelsea, we can see some kind of orange areas of where he was doing a big body of work. We've got him in and around the 18-yard box. We've got him a little bit more central, playing on that right-hand side as well. And then for Aston Villa, we've got his heat map. And he's more of an up-and-down left-sided player, coming inside slightly, but predominantly the same role as Lucas Digne. Now, if we have a look at both heat maps combined, what you can see is that Lucas Digne gets to the byline, I would say, a little bit more. but he would also do a little bit more of a defensive role, Luca Dean, and that's why I think Unai Emery was favouring him at times last season. I think Digne is probably better defensively, but I also feel like Maatsen is clear on the ball. Clear. So the two combined are pretty similar, but Luca Dean obviously has played more games, so he's going to have more areas of it becoming more red because he's playing more games. He's getting to that area a lot more. But Maatsen, you can kind of see a good overview of where he's been playing. Now, Ian Maatsen has been playing for the under-21s, and you'll see the episode that I did last week on Daniel Marlin playing for the Netherlands. So this does kind of feel like the Netherlands show, I'm not going to lie. So I really wanted to have a look at Maatsen over the course of this and see where has he been playing, what has he been asked to do again. And again, another manager has played Ian Maatsen inside. Every manager, apart from Unai Emery, has played Maatsen inside. And I think this is where Maatsen will evolve to be playing at Aston Villa. So Ian Maatsen for the Netherlands against England, a game that I watched Maatsen with an eagle eye. I was on him, I was honed in, I was watching him. So first half he played as an out and out left back, and he defensively was doing good work. He was being quite expressive, doing Maatsen's thing, nice little touches, nice little click passes forward. But I really wanted to see what this manager was actually doing with him on and off the ball. Where was he going? Where was he playing? So in the first half, you can see Ian Maatsen has inverted in build-up. They're playing with a front five. Left winger is off screen. But note Maatsen's position. Not staying on that left-hand side. Coming inside and becoming an extra central midfielder. Now, why would you do this? It helps with build-up. It's hybrid. It's fluid. It allows an extra midfielder or defender to go into central midfield. So you're getting an overload in central midfield as well. And then you're being comfortable with your defensive shape. We can see there's a 3 here. So he's in there as a 2 with the other central midfielder. Now, what was really interesting in the second half was that he got moved to central midfield. So what this shows is that he's very comfortable playing in there anyway. He can play in there as a midfielder, but if you play him in there as a midfielder, they move their system to a 5 at the back. So you're not getting any overloads in there. What I think we can see at Aston Villa is Maatsen moving from left back, inverting into central midfield, which then frees up more space for a Yuri Tielemans or another Villa midfielder to get further forward. And then our whole system starts to evolve. But here we've got screen grabs of Maatsen in central midfield, finding space, becoming really comfortable, knowing where to be, where to play, running off players, moving around, making sure that he's staying on players defensively. But he was also getting further forward as well. So I thought it was a real good case study to see what the Netherlands manager was doing as well. Now, we can see that a lot of managers have him in that inverting role, and it's something that I feel like we need to start to unlock from Maatsen's game. We don't need to see it maybe every week. Maybe another left-back can play if we've still got Digne or whoever, but I really do believe that Maatsen can evolve this Villa team, and there's so much more to come from him. I love his attributes, I love his aggression, I love his speed, I love his acceleration, I love his touch, I love his striking of the ball, very clean, good amongst the goals, good ball striker. We saw that for his goal against Newcastle. I think he's got a good cross on him, I think his passing's good, his awareness is good, his control's good, his tempo's good. So he's got the feel of a very, very good player. And I think one that's just going to get better and better with more confidence. And I'm so excited to see him play next season because I think he's going to feel like another new signing because, yes, he's played games. Yes, he's been involved. But I don't think we've nailed down Ian Maatsen either. And I think that's something that really, really excites me as a Villa fan. So we're going to go to the tactical board now. We'll have a look at what the whole makeup of Ian Maatsen within this Villa system could look like. So the Villa system, here we have it. And what's important to note is that in modern day football tactics now, what you don't really want is 4 defenders that just stay where they are, because it's all about having more numbers further forward or having that actual overload. So how I see Ian Maatsen progressing into this Villa system, there's got to be a few different recruitment tweaks. Anyway, left winger is a must. Right winger is a must. Rodgers, and then you've got Watkins, or you could have Donyell Marlon. But left winger, right winger, left winger are a must anyway. 2 central midfielders. So, how we evolve in build-up would be something similar to this. We could use Marlon as a situation as well. So, left winger, let's go then. So, this is Ian Maatsen. Ian Maatsen operates in this area through here. So, he inverts and plays inside here. We've got Kamara. Tielemans goes further forward. Then you've got a front 5. Now, what we could have is, and what I would like to have, is 2 central defenders that stay back. And then you're left with your right back. What happens and what type of right back do we want here? We want an up and down attacker, which would suit Donyell Marlon, which would mean that Marlon can then invert. And then we've got width on that side with an attacking right back. Front 6, box in the middle as protection. Kamara can move across and make a back 3 if we need to. But we've got that box in there. We are strong, solid in the centre of the pitch. So we are dominating in that area. And then the only way we can get beat is through these areas through here. But you don't have to have your right back that bombs on all the time. He can be a little bit more structured. So that's one way. This leaving a 2 at the back is something that I would like to see, because it's a hybrid, and what it means is that we've got more players further forward. Now, what could happen is that we could still be quite asymmetric. Now, if we are asymmetric, what it would mean is that right winger offers the width through there, and then obviously we're going to have a little bit more of an asymmetric feel, but your feel will have more of your right back will be staying at home a little bit more, and then you make up that back 3, and then you can work with your Maatsen, your Kamara, Rodgers or Ramsey, or a new winger can invert slightly. So those are different structural makeups, but I actually prefer leaving 2 at the back. Something similar to what Arsenal do. Then you've got Lewis Skelly in the central midfielder. This player can go forward, offer more width. This is the makeup of what I would expect to see if this was Maatsen inverting. Why I like Maatsen inverting even more as well is because I don't like the fact that if he's our width, so if we're talking how we normally play, let's get the back 4 of how we normally play then. So this is how we normally play. What I actually think is why sometimes we can't be as fluid and have so much freedom is because what we're asking here now, Ramsey inverts, plays more into this area here. This left back, and although we are big on the left-hand side, Villa's left-hand side does create a lot. We're up and down, there's big distances to travel to be creative. I would prefer this player to stay wide, and then our makeup of our team can go into this situation through here. I think it's got a better feel. It's got more of a hybrid Villa feel to it. And I think it allows us to always occupy space out wide. So what happens is, with Bailey, when Bailey was playing really well for Villa, you knew you'd got that width out there. So you knew you could always have that 1v1. The opposition always knew that they'd have to double up on him if he got the ball anyway. You do the same on the opposite side. You're starting to stretch teams, which then starts to give you more space elsewhere. So it's something that I think is interesting. It's intriguing to see how we go. But I really wanted to highlight the best elements of Ian Maatsen, because we're yet to really unlock, in my opinion, 60% of what he can offer. So it's going to be interesting. So my tea's not gone cold anyway, so the episode's not that long. So I think that was kind of like a real good insight into Maatsen and how we can unlock him further. And this is the kind of feel that I want to do on this channel. A little bit more relaxed, a little bit more tactical, taking a deeper look at players and how they can fit into the system, etc. So hopefully a lot of you are enjoying the content. I'm trying to, we've done one a week now, so that's better. It's better sort of consistency from myself. Any other players that you want me to have a look at, you want me to talk about, let me know. Players that maybe don't play for Villa, we can have a look at as well. So I just want to say cheers, everyone who's been watching. Thanks for your support. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Up the villains.